Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As I have mentioned earlier in my several of my videos, I have been deeply involved with people of all ages for the past about 7 years as part of the ruqyah that I do and level of counseling that I sometimes provide to folks of every age, and this includes kids even. And one of the problems that I have seen a lot, and it's very heartbreaking to see, because the problem affects not only the present, it affects the future of the coming generations. So I want to talk about that huge problem and what are the destructive results of that problem and how we can shut down the problem itself. So let's start. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. The silent sufferers. How does a bad relationship between parents emotionally and psychologically damages children? Children are like sponges. They absorb not just what is taught to them, but also what is demonstrated around them. The environment at home, particularly the relationship between parents, it plays a pivotal role in shaping a child's emotional, psychological, and behavioral development. When this co-relationship is toxic, hostile, neglectful, or unstable, children become the silent sufferers. The emotional scars they carry often outlast childhood and haunt them into adulthood, impacting their ability to form healthy relationships, make life decisions, and develop a strong sense of self worth. Let's explore in depth the long lasting effects of a bad parental relationship on children, supported by psychological research, real life examples, and some emotional insights. The home, a child's first school of emotional learning. A child's first understanding of love, trust, conflict resolution, gender roles, and emotional regulation comes not from school or books, but from watching their parents. When parents argue excessively, emotionally neglect each other, or live in a state of Cold War, the child learns that love is conditional or painful. Conflict must be met with yelling, silence, or avoidance. Relationships are unsafe and unpredictable. This early emotional blueprint becomes the foundation on which they build their adult relationships, often with huge cracks. Psychological insecurity and anxiety. Children in conflict ridden homes often suffer from chronic stress and anxiety. They wake up fearing the next fight, the next shouting match, or the silent treatment. This constant state of emotional alertness leads to difficulty concentrating in school, sleep disturbances, hypervigilance, and overthinking, generalized anxiety disorder later in life. Children may internalize the conflict and think, if I were better, mom and dad wouldn't fight. Maybe it's my fault. This guilt is not only unfair but psychologically devastating. Emotional neglect and lack of validation. When parents are preoccupied with their marital issues, children often become emotionally neglected. Their needs are seen as secondary or ignored entirely. This leads to low self esteem, feeling unimportant and unloved. People pleasing behaviors, trying too hard to gain approval. Attachment issues, insecure attachment styles in adult relationships. A child who does not receive consistent love, attention, or validation at home often grows up looking for it in all the wrong places, sometimes through toxic friendships, unhealthy romantic relationships, or risky behavior. The repetition cycle. Children model what they see. If a child witnesses a father yelling at the mother or a mother belittling the father, they may subconsciously adopt similar behaviors or become victims of them in the future. Examples: a boy may grow up thinking that dominance and control are masculine traits. A girl may accept verbal abuse as normal in a relationship. Children may avoid marriage altogether out of fear. Unless consciously broken, the dysfunctional cycle continues into the next generation. Behavioral issues, academic struggles. Emotional chaos at home affects a child's ability to focus, regulate emotions, and develop social skills. This often results in aggression or withdrawal at school, decline in academic performance, difficulty making and maintaining friendships, risk taking behaviors such as substance abuse, skipping school, dropping out, or rebellion. These issues are often misdiagnosed as disciplinary problems rather than symptoms of emotional distress caused by the home environment. Depression and emotional numbness. Children from unhappy homes are at a higher risk of developing depression and emotional numbness. This is especially true if parents remain together but in a cold, loveless, or combative relationship. Such children often express a sense of hopelessness about the future. They lose self confidence, then fear of love and intimacy, lack of motivation or purpose. They may become emotionally numb not because they lack feelings, but because they have suppressed them for so long just to survive. Lack of trust and relationship challenges in adulthood. One of the gravest long term impacts is difficulty in forming and maintaining adult relationships. Adults who grew up in hostile homes often struggle, and they struggle with trusting others. Fear of commitment, conflict avoidance, or aggression during disagreements, either extreme neediness or emotional detachment. In marriages, they may unknowingly mirror the same dysfunctional patterns they witnessed growing up, thereby perpetuating the cycle. It will keep on going, a vicious circle. The burden of parentification. In some cases, children of conflicted parents are forced to become emotional caretakers, a role reversal where the child supports the parent. They may comfort their crying mother after a fight, mediate arguments, protect younger siblings emotionally. This premature emotional responsibility robs them of their childhood and leaves them with the resentment, exhaustion, difficulty setting boundaries in adult life. Then the societal impact. Broken families, broken societies. The effects are not limited to individual families. A society filled with emotionally wounded adults leads to higher divorce rates, increased mental health crises, broken homes, generational trauma. The roots of many societal problems like addiction, violence, depression, and even crime, it can be traced back to unstable and unloving family environments. Religious and ethical perspective. In Islam and in most faith traditions, family unity and mercy between spouses is highly emphasized. And among his signs is that he created for you spouses from among yourselves so that you may find tranquility in them. And he placed between you affection and mercy. Surah Al-Rum. Parents are guardians not only of their children's bodies but of their souls and emotions. Failing to protect a child from emotional damage is a violation of that trust. A call for reflection and healing. A bad relationship between parents is not a private affair. It ripples into the hearts and minds of the most vulnerable, the children. They may not voice it, but they live it. Every slammed door, every night of silent tension, every bitter word is etched into their emotional memory. It is never too late for parents to seek help, mend their bond, or at the very least, shield their children from conflict. Family therapy, counseling, conflict resolution, and most importantly, empathy and humility can save not just a marriage but an entire generation. If we truly love our children, we must learn to love or at least respect each other. One of the biggest blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that there have been several cases which came to my notice. Parents reached out to me, in some cases, even the kids reached out to me. And with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I was able to help the dysfunctional families again gel together. I have been successful in some cases in healing the hurt between the spouses, even in a few cases from the situation where the spouses were ready to either separate or even go ahead with the divorce, which is although permitted, but as we know, it is the most disliked halal act in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us better parents and better spouses. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.